Hi, this is Jordi V, and today I'm going to show you how to make an alternative R&B beat for Tory Lanez. So I already finished the track fully, but I will not be playing it until the end of the video. I will be mainly focusing on the 16th bars, which contains the whole meat of the track. So we have the lead, the vocals, and everything. And if you like what you hear and my explanation for the composition, maybe you want to stick to the end of the video to listen to the full track. So yeah, without further ado, let's start with this tutorial. So I started this track with the pads section. Let's play it. I'm gonna solo my MIDI track. So we have this chord progression in the key of A minor, if I'm not mistaken. So a simple chord progression, nothing complicated. I just added some extra note to add some movement and make the pattern more interesting. For the patch, I'm using Serum for this, the VST Serum for this pads section, and I'm using this preset, called Pads Vice, and I'm also using the Kickstart plugin in order to add some sidechain into the track. Sorry, I'm having the pads MIDI track frozen since the project is a bit high on CPU. So once I've had my pads section here, I move it to the bass part. So for the bass, let me unfreeze it for a while, or let's listen to it first and I will show you what I did with the bass. So I have my bass section soloed, and let's go back to our loop and let's play it. So yeah, super heavy bass. I love it a lot. It's kind of it have a Reese characteristic to it, but it's not Reese. So if I unfreeze my track, we have a pitch stock effect from Ableton Live to play the pattern on the a lower octave, and we have this Serum preset called Karate Kid. Weirdly, I don't know why, but yeah. So that's it for the preset. For people who want to copy it, let me scale that to 114%. Nothing special happening here. I just added a macro 1 and macro 2 to automate the wavetable position on the VST, also the cutoff frequency for the filter on Serum. So you can see within the automation, I'm automating the filter cutoff here. Pattern-wise, I'm playing the root note of each chord, and I'm adding some extra notes here for groove and try to make a more funky, I guess, bass pattern. I'm also playing a bit with velocity to add some more human feeling to it. So I think with the velocity, the patch, the cutoff frequency automation, it sounds amazing. So let me freeze the track again. Sorry, it will take a little bit of time, but if I don't do that, it will be messy later and we will be having some weird glitches. So let's wait for that. So once I had my bass part, my pads part, I moved to the lead. And with the lead, I wasn't looking for something super complicated. I just some sparse note to add some melodic elements and add some interest to my track. So let me solo my lead part here. For the lead, we have Serum again, another preset here. Again, nothing special. We have Valhalla Vintage Reverb to add some reverb to our sound, some echo and some ping pong delay at the end. For the notes, we are playing these notes. You can see that I copy pasted the patch section and I improvised or added some notes here. I've drawn them with the pen tool. So nothing crazy. Let's solo the lead and let's listen. perfect in my opinion, since we have a super busy, kind of busy bass. We have a present pads also. So with the leads, I didn't want to overcomplicate things. So if I play the first three elements together, yeah, one thing I forget to mention about the bass part. So I grouped the bass part since I can't freeze a track with a side chaining on it. So I added it into a group and I added some side chain to the kick. Hence, you can see the ducking effect if I solo my group. So if I turn off the compressor here. So yeah, the compressor adds that side chaining and make it less present within the mix. So yeah, once I had that, I moved to the drums. So for the drums, I started with the kick, super basic, and I've played this pattern. We are in the key of 110, we are within the BPM of 110 beats per minute. So with this type of track, you don't need a lot of processing. I highly recommend you focus on sound selection. As you might see here, the kick is super, it cut within your mix, it's super subby, it has all the limits that I need. I don't need to tweak it, add some EQ8 to it, compress it or anything. So if you choose your sounds wisely, same for your presets, you will save yourself a lot of hassle. So I didn't use any processing on the kick. I just broke it down -6 dB for the sake of proper mixing, and that's it. Next, we have our snare. So for the snare, super basic pattern again, and I have it a little bit off the grid here to add some groove. And let's listen to the kick with the snare playing together. Same, no processing. The snare sounds amazing. So we have our foundational element for the drums. I moved to the hi-hats, and for the hi-hats, I've decided to go with the percussion loop. So we have this percussion loop. I added some EQ8 to cut some of the low frequencies, and I added some sidechain compression with the compressor from Ableton Live to sidechain it to the kick. So if we listen to our extra loop track here, so we have some open hat, some closed hat, and some hi-hat fills at the end. And what I like about this percussion loop, it has an acoustic timbre to it, which add to our some organic elements to our otherwise very numeric and digital track. So once I had that, I've decided to add some extra more percussive element. So I'm using battery for this. I just purchased or get battery, so I'm experimenting with it a bit. I've loaded a couple of sounds here. I added some EQ8 to cut some of the low frequencies and accentuate or amplify some of the high frequencies here. And let's listen to our pattern. So nothing crazy. We have a shaker, some toms, another tom, and we have a clap fill at the end to add some variation. So if I solo my drum elements again, and we have a layer here of reverse crash, nothing special, and EQ8 and reverb. So if I play all my drums together, super punchy, it's kicking hard. I love it. So what I might want to do later is group my drum tracks and add some extra processing to it, maybe a drum bass, etc. But I'm not worrying about the mixing within this tutorial. I'm just trying to break down the main elements for this track. So once I had all of these, so we have basically the main beat. I wanted to add some kind of reference vocals to see how it will sound with someone singing on it. So I've added this vocal loop, and since we are making a beat for Tory Lanez, I'm looking for a male vocal, but unluckily for me, I didn't find anything interesting on Splice, so I've decided to add the female vocal and manipulate it with the pitch shifter, sound shifter, from Waves plugin. So I just did that. So if I deactivate the processing on my group vocals here, and let's listen to the original sample. Let me solo. And
I put my life on it. Addicted to your vibe, baby. I put my life on it. In love with the way you do it.
So yeah, we have the sound shifter playing the sample on -12 semitones, so an octave lower to have that male vocal effect. And we have the reverb intensity. Again, I'm super happy with this plugin I just got from Arturia. And this is basically a reverb plugin. So we are using a little bit of dry wet here, a little bit of size to add that texture to our sample. Nothing crazy again. And you're using the Infinity preset, a little bit tweaked. And on the main vocal, I'm using some glue compression. So to add some punch and oomph to the sound, I'm activating the soft clip in here. I'm experimenting a bit with the makeup and threshold. And finally, since I was a little bit, I've tried to finish the beat like super fast. So this is something I generally do, is to add this amazing plugin from Waves plugin called CLA Vocals, which contains the main ingredients for treating a vocal. So we have our bass, treble, compression, our reverb, delay, and pitch. So I added the plugin. I experimented a bit with this preset Instant Karma, and yeah. So if I unsolo all of my processing, listen to the sample, and I will be activating them one by one. So let's listen. Let me mute them first, so you can see the effect of each plugin.
I put my life on
some reverb. You can hear the texture, the pitch shifting. So we are looking for more compression. You can feel that the sound has some more characteristic. And finally, we are playing with the treble, bass, and adding some extra reverb, some compression to tweak the sound at the final stage. So yeah, it sounds perfect to my eyes. What I might want to do is, sorry, to my ears. I'm not just like I'm hearing with my eyes. Anyway, so what I might want to do is cut some of the low frequencies, but not a lot, since we are looking for that low male vocal. This sounds perfect to me. So yeah, that's it for now. Obviously, as usual with my tutorials, I don't get a lot into mixing, since I'm trying to make them a little bit quick and not take a lot of your time. So this beat needs some more mixing, obviously, some more arrangement. So yeah, I might do a little bit of that at the end of the video, and I will play the beat. So thanks for tuning in again, and let me know in the comments if you want me to cover any other artists. And stay safe and have fun, and peace.
life on me.